is Council Member Aurin Chowdhury. I represent a part of the Minneapolis South Side in Ward 12, and I'm the Chair of Intergovernmental Relations. Today is Wednesday, February 4th, and we're coming back to you with another Metro Ice Out report. This is a report out from elected officials and public officials across jurisdictions in the metro and the state of Minnesota as we are under an ICE occupation and invasion. We know that the core of what we need to do for our community is to show up and also to make sure that we are sharing out information, we're telling the stories of Minnesotans, and we are standing together strongly against this egregious ICE action that has just harmed so much of our community and continues to do so. And so I am really grateful to be joined by so many leaders today. The first leader I will introduce is School Board Member Mary Granlund.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. My name is Mary Granlund. I am a school board chair in Columbia Heights. Um, excuse me. You may have heard about Heights lately. We've been in the news, sadly. We have had a total of 6 students abducted since the beginning of January. We are in the process of getting them, back. Liam was returned to us, to our community, and we're very excited about that. We've got, another student that we just received word last night that her habeas was granted, and they are also in the process of coming back with her mother. So we're super excited that Elizabeth is also coming home. But we still have other kiddos there. We still have 4 kiddos there at least. And we are not going to stop until we get all of our families home and our community is made whole again. Unfortunately, Columbia Heights is 3 square miles. We have 23,000 people in our little first ring suburb of Minneapolis. We have 29 officers in our police department, and that's for within a 24-hour period. We have 29 officers spread out over 24 hours. But on any given day, we can have up to anywhere from 60 to 100 ICE agents in our community at one time. So clearly we are outnumbered a lot. Our community is really organized and pretty strong to try and do what we can against the Operation Metro Surge. But we are outnumbered a lot, obviously. And, we are doing what we can to support the community and our students and their families. We have a number of successful food drives, some GoFundMes that have been started by community members. We also have some for the schools. But it's very, very clear that without a moratorium on evictions, we do not have enough money to support our community members, and we will see a massive amount of evictions coming up shortly. So those are the 2 things that are pressing the most right now to our community, and thinking about the impact on our schools as well. So so that is the concise update for what's going on over here. The idea of it, getting lessened because of the changeover in leadership, we did not see that happen. It has seemingly gotten worse. So that is my update.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're sending a lot of love to Columbia Heights, and we know that Liam Conejo Ramos was taken from your district, and we are so glad that he's returned. But we know that there are several students, just like you laid out, that are waiting to be back home. And so we will be with you, and we'll look for the update when they're back, and just thank you to your entire community for what they're doing. Next, we will go to Representative Koegel.
Thank you so much for having me. I also just want to really lift up the work that Mary and our school board has been doing. It's made the work that I have to do a lot less. And I represent 4 school districts in my area. And so we've seen, it not just in Columbia Heights, but start to move up into Fridley, Spring Lake Park, Blaine, Mounds View. And so there's, there's a ton of activity happening in our districts every day. And the thing that's been the most inspiring to me is seeing all the leaders in our area step up and take on this work. When I called Mary after Liam was taken, she said, we already have a lawyer. And so, I am just so lucky to represent a community where people actually care about each other, and our leaders in our community step up to help. And it's just been, even just in my kiddo goes to the Spring Lake Park school districts, and just the organic organizing that's happened around that. And, parents stepping up and talking to each other on the corner, by the crosswalk, making sure that the kiddos can get home safe from school. That has just been one of the bright spots of this whole thing. But it's sad that it came to this. My first grader came home the other day and said, Mom, when are the ICE officers going to be gone? Because there was somebody that got taken right outside our school during school drop off. We also had ICE agents driving around our school this morning during drop off. My kiddo's school butts up right to Fridley Terrace, which is a mobile home facility or a mobile home park. And they're constantly in there. They're constantly circling the schools. They're constantly circling the mobile home parks. And even these parks now have their own signal groups where they're like, oh, we saw ICE, everybody lock their doors, put your curtains down. And that's the organic organizing that's happening. And we need to make sure that we harness that organic organizing and community-based organizing, and continue it going into the future. Because I think that's a lot of why so many people are disconnected, is because we don't have those spaces to come together anymore. And so, I'm just so proud of Mary and Zena and Amara and all of our folks in Columbia Heights. I mean, you guys have been beasts, and I really appreciate it. And my job here is really just to, figure out what resources they need that I can get to them. I feel I'm more of a facilitator in this, and it's just been heart-wrenching and heartwarming. And, I'm angry and I'm happy. It's just, we'd never imagined we'd be going through this in our country. And so I just really want to appreciate all of you, all of the community members, all of the folks who are donating to the rent, to help people pay their rent and to get food and get kiddos home. Minnesota is one of the biggest volunteer states in the world, or in the country. And so we're kind of showing up right now and showing what volunteerism is really about, and it's about our neighbors. So thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Representative. Next, we are going to get an update from Senator Doron Clark.
Thank you, Council Member. Today, Tom Homan announced that 2,000 ICE agents are going to remain in Minnesota. That's a reduction from about 2,700 agents. Homan's announcement to draw down federal agents in Minnesota is a direct result of Minnesotans standing united against this heartlessness, this cruelty of the Trump administration. From the work that Representative Koegel and her neighbors are doing, to Mary's work in Columbia Heights to stand up for students, this is what's caused some of the drawback from Trump. But there's still 2,000 agents here. And we continue to demand that ICE must be held accountable for their actions and leave Minnesota. So while his announcement to draw down federal agents is progress, it's not enough. ICE is still disrupting, terrorizing our communities, and our immigrant communities are still not safe. And Minnesotans will continue to do what Representative Koegel said: observe, patrol, support our immigrant neighbors, and demand an end to Trump's Operation Metro Surge, and that ICE be held accountable for their actions, because that's what Minnesotans do. We are the North Star in standing up for our neighbors. It's what we do. And ICE is still active here. You heard Mary and Erin say about it. But Tuesday in South Minneapolis, guns were drawn as ICE agents pulled observers from a car. The agent that was captured in the video explained that, well, the reason we were pulling these folks out of the car is yesterday, the day before on Monday, the observers flashed handguns at them. What he meant was finger pistols. So they flashed finger pistols at them and then pulled out of their car. Sunday in Powderhorn Park in South Minneapolis, ICE was staged in the park and then willy-nilly deployed tear gas at folks who were reminding them that they are not allowed in Minneapolis parks. Also Sunday in Minneapolis parks in North Minneapolis at Falwell, Commissioner Amber Frederick informed ICE agents who were again staging in Falwell Park that they were breaking the law and needed to leave. Yesterday, at a truck stop in Northfield, ICE agents were breaking out the windows of truck cabs and pulling the long-haul truckers out of their trucks. This weekend in St. Paul's East Side, ICE agents ran their two cars into a local resident's car as he was driving. ICE then took him away, even though the man insisted that he had papers that he could show the ICE agents that he was here in America legally. On Tuesday, ICE was checking papers in front of an apartment complex in Eden Prairie. And just this morning on University Avenue, across from an elementary in Northeast Minneapolis and in full view of students, ICE attempted to raid a home. Tom Homan's drawdown is not moving fast enough. And we need him to keep his word and get ICE out of Minnesota and get him out of Minneapolis. So neighbors, keep doing the work, keep observing, keep making sure that they keep their promises and stick to the Constitution. So thank you for the work that we're doing. Thank you, neighbors. Keep being peaceful, keep being vigilant, keep your eyes on ICE. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Clark. Next, we are going to have an update from Hennepin County Commissioner Angela Conley.
Thank you so much. So yes, Angela Conley, Hennepin County Commissioner, representing the South Side and Fort Snelling. I've got an update around what actions I'm taking, what actions the county board has taken. The Hennepin County Board of Commissioners issued a resolution that formally requested the withdrawal of all agents within our state that are a part of Operation Metro Surge. That was passed unanimously. I agree that a drawdown is not enough. Our board wants them gone immediately because of the impacts to our neighbors. In addition, the board reaffirmed its policy requiring third-party use of county property be done through an official request, and that no civil immigration enforcement is allowed on county property. We also established, working with county administration to establish reporting mechanisms for staff at county libraries to address concerns, what they're seeing, whether it's unconstitutional or unlawful activity. We need to know about it and then collect those responses. We're also reviewing our own internal policies to ensure the protection of all residents, all workers. We are aggregating federal data and federal orders right now because there's just so many of them, so that we can keep track and be strategic about our response to that, and just providing periodic updates to our congressional delegation of what we're seeing on the ground as the largest county in the state. We have engaged state and local partners for after action reviews of some of the things that we hear from constituents are happening on the ground and what type of coordinated efforts need to take place. In addition, my office has sent letters to Tom Homan immediately requesting the end of Operation Metro Surge. Just today, we received a receipt of that letter from his executive assistant. I will close by saying that I have been in contact with commissioners from El Paso County. We are actively working with El Paso County. I am to get folks home. So we have residents who have been taken out of Minneapolis, kidnapped and abducted, who have legal status to be in this country, who are ending up in El Paso, Texas. And so the commissioners there want to know what to do to get them back home, because after they're held in that detention center for 72 hours, they're released to the streets of El Paso, Texas, with nowhere to go and no clear path back home to Minneapolis. So there's active coordination happening with myself, my office, and the Office of Commissioners in El Paso, Texas, to bring folks home. And I know there's a grassroots effort happening on the ground now. There's organizations that are working on legal defense because you can't practice law in Texas. So if you're a lawyer here, and so a lot of our folks who are stranded in Texas don't have legal representation. So there's a lot of organizing happening to get that together and to get them back home. So thank you for the time today.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Next, we will get an update from the Minneapolis Public School Board, and we'll have School Board Chair Collin Beachy.
Yes, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I guess first of all, I'd like to start by addressing the representative and school board chair Granlund. I think that a lot of things that you're seeing happening, and we've been through this for a couple months here, and it can feel overwhelming. And you did mention something about how you're outnumbered, but the truth of the matter is that you're not, because the people of this city, the people of this state are stepping up like never before, and you're going to see it happening in Columbia Heights. They may have the guns, they may have the thugs, they may have all of that, but you have the community, and that's going to win out every single time. We have showed that here in Minneapolis. And the thing about when you are going through this, you will not be going through it alone. We are with you. So I just want to let everyone know, I think the biggest question that everyone is having right now is what's going to happen in February 12th once our online earning option date has come to an end. The truth of the matter is this. First of all, we need to stop this narrative that our families and our students are too afraid to come to school, because we're not going to put this on them. The fact of the matter is the federal government came in here and has made conditions on the ground unsafe for our families to go to school and to just live their daily lives. But we're not putting this on them, but we are stepping up for them. And we're going to continue to do so. But we have to monitor the situation on the ground. And so day by day, we're just going to keep monitoring everything that is. And we will let the schools and the families know directly when a decision has been made, how that decision was made. And we just have to make sure that we're still doing everything we can to keep our kids safe from this occupation. This all again has showed why our public schools are so influential to our communities, and the way that everyone has continuing to step up. There are two things I want to highlight here. I want to get the names correctly. Every Meal is a group that has been working with us to help with the meal distribution, because our schools and our district doesn't have all of the resources to get our meals out to that many number of students. So this group has stepped up and done what they can to help with that for us. One of the biggest things that I'm concerned about now is I've been mentioning this before, is what the long-term effects of this are going to be on our students' mental health. So we are working with Health Fairview to be working with what are some of the long-term programming sharing that we can do, because even when ICE leaves, this is going to linger with our students, some of them for a very long time, probably their whole lives. And we need to be prepared for that. We need to be in front of that. So I appreciate having the opportunity to come here again and update people. Again, we will be letting people know as soon as we can what the decision is going to be when this date ends. And listen, I know that this is uncertain, and uncertainty can create worry, and worry can create more fear. So, but we are stepping up, and we are going to be keeping communicating with our families, keeping communicating with our leaders here, and we just want to make sure that our students are safe, and that's got to be our number one priority moving forward. So, thank you once again for everything that everybody is doing. We are going to get through this. We are too strong for Tom Homan. We're too strong for the President of the United States. So we are Minneapolis, and we got this, and we're going to get through this. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. So one thing that we all keep on telling our communities here on the Minneapolis City Council and as we're on the ground is don't let your guard down, right? We also know that so many of the stories that are coming out of Minneapolis, out of Minnesota, a lot of it's being suppressed. And it is all in an effort to create this sense that things are changing when they're not. And so we're asking our community continually to believe what you see with your eyes, continue to report instances of violations either to the ACLU or into the portal that the Attorney General has created. One thing that I'll say about Border Czar Tom Homan's remarks in his press conference is that he said he was asked if Operation Metro Surge was a success. And he said yes. How can a surge that indiscriminately has been targeting brown and black and indigenous people, racially profiling them at their workplaces, at their bus stops, at their places of worship, be a success? How can an operation that takes 2-year-old, 5-year-old children away from their parents and takes them all the way to Texas in a place that they do not know, how can that be a success? How can the brutalization of constitutional observers who have shared that they have broken bones or cracks in their skulls or have been verbally abused and harassed be a success? How can the execution of Renee Good and Alex Preddy be a success? And that's what I want to remind folks. We want this drawdown, and we also want to say that we still, whether it's Gregory Bovino or Kristi Noem, even with Tom Homan, we understand propaganda when we see it. There is no way to pacify or justify the last few weeks or what's even happening today. And the only way for us to recover and the only way for there to be any semblance of the Trump administration to show that they are not just abhorrently unconstitutional and cruel is for them to immediately leave. ICE just needs to immediately leave Minneapolis and Minnesota because we need to recover from the harm that's been done in our community, both emotionally, physically, but also economically. And we also want to say the eyes of the nation sees what we're going through, and that's why we see this administration have an abysmal approval rating. We are the people, and we will continue to use our voice. And as your representatives, we will uplift your voice and make sure that it shows up here on these Metro ICE Out reports. I also want to share a couple of actions that are coming out of the Minneapolis City Council. So it's February 4th. Rent has been due. For a lot of people, that grace period is ending. And we have called for an eviction moratorium. We have done a formal ask to the governor because we are in emergency. We are in a crisis. There's quite literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in rental assistance aid that community members are trying to move on their own to make sure that people can stay in their homes because they're so fearful to leave. They have lost their source of income. One of the actions that we are hoping to take this upcoming Thursday is moving $1 million of rental assistance for those who are impacted, and we're working with Hennepin County on that. So that's an action that we will be taking on Thursday. Another action that we're taking is we understand that our local businesses, especially businesses that have been impacted by immigration enforcement activity, have lost so much, right? They have lost so much. Some businesses have lost about 80% of the clientele that they usually get, and that's hitting them hard right now. And so we are moving forward about $5 million of business assistance for those who are impacted by immigration enforcement citywide in the next few weeks. And so that could be something that folks pay attention to. Another thing that we are going to consider is in the city of Minneapolis, we have a 30-day pre-eviction notice, meaning if you are not able to pay rent, you have a 30-day window before eviction proceedings start, which gives community members an opportunity to get their financials ready to pay rent so they don't have to go to an eviction proceeding. We know that it's taking a little bit longer for people to get that money. We know that it takes time for rental assistance to get out the door. And we also know that we don't have an eviction moratorium. So something that we are considering in the city of Minneapolis is extending that window from 30 to 60 days temporarily. So community members have more time to make rent. This is not something that we want to do, but it does feel like something we have to do especially without an eviction moratorium. The final action related to the ICE activities in our community that we are considering is we know that we have seen ICE agents staying in hotels throughout our city and also throughout the metro. And that has caused so much chaos, a feeling of lack of safety for community members that live around those hotels, the workers that are within them, and has led to mass disruption. And we have 2 hotels that are seeking a liquor license renewal. Something that the city council regularly does is has conversations with businesses about their safety plans before we grant them liquor licenses. Because we know if you already have an unsafe situation going on at your business and you mix in hard liquor, that can lead to greater adverse circumstances. So we have delayed those liquor licenses to next Tuesday so we can have a public comment period, because we do not feel like the stories of what's going on from hotels allowing ICE agents to be there and the adverse impacts that are occurring have been fully shared out. And we as a council want to hear that, and we want to understand what's a safety plan that can be created. What are our options here? And also just to state that this should not be a norm, right? Businesses should not be housing agents that are harming the community surrounding them. And we also know that our community has a role in using their voice and their pocketbook in that. That's all the updates I have from the city. This has been the Metro Ice Out report. We're going to keep on doing these until we don't have to keep on doing them. We're going to be back with some regularity. There's going to be different local officials every single time. Our next Metro Ice Out report is going to be Friday, February 6th at noon, and we will see you then.